Okay. Good morning. I just want to say to Leo, my good friend, brother, thank you for that introduction. It's such a privilege to be able to be before y'all, as well as to get Leo to bring me out to be able to speak to y'all. And so I'm excited about it. What he didn't tell you is that I'm a country boy trapped in the city. I grew up in a small town, just I guess what would be west of here, Navasota, Texas, just down the street. So if you go down 45, you'll see the sign, and 36. So I grew up in Navasota, Texas, and I moved back to Houston about 14 years ago. And for two reasons: ministry and marriage. And when I made it to Houston, I found both of those things. And so, like I was just sharing with Cassidy, um, for when I first landed down here, I was a part of this urban nonprofit, which is near the University of Houston. And so I've been a part of that ministry about 14 years. So since I got down here, so I learned a lot from the nonprofit world to get me to the place where I'm at today. And by the way, my name is Carl Winn. And so with all that being said, I've been married almost 14 years. I got 5 children. We homeschool. Uh, some of the things that I'll be talking about today, I talk to them about it because I believe education starts at home, right? I believe that what we do in home, it impacts the society. And so what I'll be speaking to you today about is some of those things, the things that I've learned, and thankfully, one of the things that I've been able to do is write my own book, which will be coming out next Tuesday. And so I write the book for 3 reasons, and for y'all as business students, this is something that you can think about. 3 reasons. So it's called the 3 Ps: passive impact, passive income, and positive influence. So think about this. A book, what it does is it enables you to have the 3 Ps: passive impact, passive income, and positive influence. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how you can actually compose a book based on your story. So my book is titled Nothing is a Waste: Leverage the Past, Improve the Future. And so I'm going to be encouraging you. You're going to hear some information about how you can actually leverage your past, the good, the bad, the ugly, to make an impact. I want you to walk away from the day understanding that everything that's ever happened in your life, it wasn't a waste. I want you to walk away from this and say, you know what? I have value that the marketplace needs. I want you to walk away from here inspired at this very moment in your life to begin to dream, to begin to say, man, I have something to offer. I can extract these things from my past. And let me tell you, that has been my life today. That's why I'm standing before you today, is because I saw my past as not something to hold me down, but actually lift me up. If you think about a weight, it can do 2 things, right? It can pull you down or it can lift you up, depending on how you use it. So when you think about your past, it's perspective. And I know Leo, he talks about perspective a lot. And so my job today is to give you perspective on how you can use your life to go out and have passive impact, passive income, and positive influence. And I want you to believe that you can do it. And I'm going to show you how. And so to start off, so there's 3 things that I was asked to talk about. And so I'll talk about those 3 things. The first thing is, what do I do? Right? what do I do? And so the thing that I do is I positively transform lives worldwide by actively leveraging tools and resources to influence the masses for Jesus Christ. That's what I do. If somebody say, Carl, what do you do? I am positively impacting others' lives by leveraging everything, tools, resources to bring glory to God. And so the question is, what tools do you use, right? What tools do you use? Well, the first tool that I use is I use books. Who in here likes to read? Well, if you don't, learn to like to read, right? I mean, because it's a skill that you can develop. Books. I use the writings and the teachings of others as a secondary source for growth, for teaching other people. Everything that I am today is a combination of what I learned, the books I've read, the people that I've listened to, good, bad, and ugly, right? And so I read all types of books, whether I agree with them or not, because there's always things that you can learn, even from things and people that you don't agree with. It just helps. I mean, I've been married 14 years, almost 14. There's some things that me and my wife just don't agree with, but I definitely can learn from them, right? The second book that I use, think about this. I use other people's books, right, and teachings to help me be who I am, right? Help me to do what I do. So, but my primary source is the Bible. I use the Word of God as a way to equip me for success. Think about this. Books have the opportunity to influence so many people. One book can change the world. And let me tell you, one book that has changed the world is the Bible. Society has been built on it. Success principle. There's principles rooted in that. If you do this, right, the law of what? Sowing and what? Reaping. What you do has a direct result of what you will get. And so in there, it has principles on how we can leverage those principles in order to have a good life. And one of the things that I found out is, man, God wants us to succeed. What are some other tools that I'm using? Social media. Listen, social media is just a tool, y'all. Listen, I understand that some people are addictive to social media. I mean, some people, may be in their college class right now on social media. They're checking their phone. They got to do all this. They're in school. So social media, it can ruin you, but it's also a tool that you can use to make your impact. So I use social media. Again, my goal is to influence the masses. So social media is just a tool in my hands to do that. And so what do? I use LinkedIn primarily. I'm writing on there news articles. I'm writing on there, posting about things that I'm doing, posting messages to educate people, to add value to people. And I've been able to talk to people all over the world, right? We can leverage social media. We can leverage the ability to have virtual meetings. I've met with people in Africa. I've met with people in Australia just through leveraging social media. And guess what? I'm influencing the masses. And so in business, you got to think about this. You have to think about leverage. Leverage is what you need. If you have a resource and a tool that's not helping you succeed, guess what? You need to get rid of it. But if there's tools and resources that you can use that's going to help you to make your impact, then you need to find out what are those best tools. Some other tools that I use is networking, groups, events. I'm an avid networker. I get out there and I get it. I'm meeting everybody. I met a couple people today. I learned some things from Cassidy, right? I learned some things about Irvin because guess what? I'm a networker. You never know what one relationship would do for you. I'm here today because of one relationship. I'm at this very class today because of one relationship. So networking is a tool to help you grow and expand your mission. And so, listen, there's 4 reasons why I network. Let me tell you this. I didn't write that down, but I'm going to tell you because this is what you need to think about. You need to have a plan for networking. Just like you have a plan for social media, like you have a plan for reading books, you need to have a plan for networking. So I network for 4 reasons. For the 4 C's. Number 1, content. I go to networking events so I can learn. If you're going to be a business owner or you're going to be in business, you need to be a lifelong learner. And so I go to different events so I can learn, so I can pick up some of the information of what they've been through, what they're learning, so that I can grow. I like this. Somebody told me this one day many years ago when I was a correctional officer, and it actually was an inmate. And I told him, man, yeah, I'm grown, man. Look at me, I'm growing. I'm grown, man. I'm strong, and I got this. I'm a man. And then one of the things he told me that really changed my mindset. Remember, perspective is everything. Mindset is everything. He said, Winn, because they called me my last name. They've been able to call me my first name, Carl. Y'all can call me Carl. But he said, Winn. He said, I don't think about myself as being grown, but growing. Listen, I always tell people, I'm not grown, I'm growing. There's always room for improvement. Listen, you're going to get your college degree, but don't let your education stop there. Jim Rome says this. He says formal education will make you a living, but it says self-education will make you a fortune. You got to be learning. This morning on the way drive here, I had about a 45-minute drive, maybe an hour. I listened to a lady, a book on Audible. She's 102 years old, and she wrote a book. Man, I was gaining. Man, I'm like, wow, this is awesome. At 102, she's still making contribution. So I go to the network event for content. The other one is collaboration. Maybe I'm going to walk out of here with an opportunity for us to collaborate on something. I mean, I don't know. I hope that if y'all hear something that, man, and you want to follow up, you got an idea, let's collaborate. Right? So I look for collaboration opportunities. The other thing is I look for connections, building relationships, both for business, but also just for friendship. Connections, right? And then the last thing is contribution. I want y'all to think about contribution. You need to be thinking about, how can I give to somebody else? We live in a society where everybody is about taking and taking and taking. You need to be showing up to these events and saying, how can I make a contribution? And let me tell you, you have value. You need to think about the value you have. You don't need to walk in a room and think that you don't have value to contribute. Even if there's somebody that may be at a level that you want to be at, you always have value to contribute, and you need to think about that. So networking is a tool that I use. The 4th thing is trainings. I love learning. There's online training, there's in-person trainings. You need to be growing. You need to, guess what? I told you I got 5 children, 10 to 4. I take them to trainings with me now. Why? Because I want them to get in the mindset that training is a part of living. And I was telling them, and as I'm telling y'all, if you're not learning, you're not living. Learning is living. Growing is living. You're a living being. You got breath. You need to learn. There's always more for you to do. There's always improvement. So that's what I do. So The second thing is, why do I do what I do? Write this word down. Stewardship. Stewardship. Well, before I go to stewardship, I want to share this with you. I've been thinking, and I think a lot because we should think a lot. It's important to think a lot. But I came up with this definition of leverage because my book is what? Nothing is a waste. Leverage the past, improve the future. So I started to think about what is leverage and how do I define leverage and how can I help other people see what the value in leverage. So I came up with this definition of leverage. Listen, leverage, this is leverage. Leverage enables one to achieve a desired outcome more easily, efficiently, effectively, and excellently. And so leverage is, this is leverage. Leverage is a person, place, thing, thought, tool that enables one to achieve a desired outcome. Again, more easily, efficiently, effectively, and excellently. Right? So you're here at this class right now in Lone Star, because you are leveraging their resources to get to where you want to go. And not only that, but you're leveraging the value that Professor Leo can bring to you. You didn't sign up for this class just to sign up for it. It is going to help you to be where you need to be. So that's leverage. So why do I do what I do? So number one is again, overarching stewardship. Number one, God's investment. God has invested life, breath, and everything into me. And so my goal is to use my life, breath, and everything to bring him glory and to do good for other people. Right? He wants a return on his investment. I sum it up as man's responsibility. It is my responsibility to take what has been entrusted to me, which is my life, and use it for God's glory and the good of others. If I'm not doing that, I'm wasting my life. You might as well bury me, right? I'm wasting it. And so one of the things I want you to take away is that my faith is not abstract, it's active. It leads to action. It doesn't lead me to say, I have this belief, I have this faith in God, and I don't do anything with it. No, faith leads to action. It leads me to act in such a way, whether that's privately at home with my family or publicly with other people. And so a part of that stewardship is that I'm not money minded, I'm missional minded. I'm not just thinking about how can I go make the next dollar, the next money. I'm not chasing money. I'm chasing a mission. And guess what? The money will follow. And then why do I do what I do? Is because I believe God is calling me to be an impact leader. And so I impact in three ways. I impact the community, colleges, as well as commerce. And so as you think about why do I do what I do, I leverage my uniqueness. And I want you to think about uniqueness in this way. I will write it down, but it's a combination of this: your experiences, your education, and your expertise, your uniqueness. So because I'm uniquely designed to be who I am as Carl Winn, how do I use that to do what I do? Right? That is my why. The third thing that I was asked to do, which you got it in front of you, is the key principles. What are the principles that I lean on to help me positively transform lives worldwide? And I already shared with you my book, but Nothing is a waste, right? That's the first principle. When I think about life, when I think about principle living, I think about this. Nothing is a waste. And how can I leverage everything to do what I do? I'm telling you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Think about this. Think about a challenge you face and how has it made you stronger, right? Whether it's in your marriage, if you're married, whether it's in your home, with your siblings or on a job, think about it. How has it made you stronger, right? So you got to think about leveraging everything. So when I go to places, when I'm dealing with things, I'm thinking about what can I extract from this situation that's going to help me grow, to help me become better. So I said this, I say this in my book. I said, if you can't change it, use it. So the past, remember, you can't change it. You can't go back and remove it. If you had a time machine, you'd try to do all this, but you can't change it. So we need to use it. So that's what I'm about, using the past. The second thing is the big gig principle is what I use. And I define big gig as this way: big goals, big impact, big growth. Listen, we're gonna use our energy no matter what. We're gonna use our lives no matter what. But I'd rather use my life doing something big. There is no need for me to use my energy to set small goals. Like, who in here knows how many hours are in a week? You know? Well, I 168 hours. That's right. 100. Listen, all of us get the same amount of hours, 168 hours. You can use your life, you can use that 168 hours chasing something small or chasing something big. It's all the same time. You don't get more, you don't get less. Why not use your time to chase something big? Because guess what? When you're chasing something big, you're gonna automatically get something small along the way. But you need to set big goals, man. I don't want to be living my life using my energy to chase something. Oh, I can barely get this. No, I want to be stretched. I want to grow. I want to set big goals because I want to make big impact and I want to experience big growth. And so by the end of this year, this is one of my big goals. By the end of this year, I want to impact 50,000 people. And I invite you to help me. I want to impact 50,000 people and show them how they can use their pain, their past, for success, for a platform, for a positive impact. By the end of the year. So I'm going to be doing everything. This book is coming out next Tuesday. It's going to release. I invite everybody to get a copy because I want to show everybody how can you leverage your past to make an impact. So I'm not setting these small goals. Oh, I want to impact 5 people. No. This is big. Right? By the end of this year, I'm an impact leader on the college campus at TSU. So I want to impact 2,500 young men by the end of this year. I want to do a big event. So if y'all want to come out and help support, I want to do a big event, impact their lives. I'm not walking around trying to set something small. Right? Starting next year, I'm starting a leadership program on TSU campus. I want to impact 60 students. Help them grow in leadership. Help them grow to be a impact leader. I'm not going for something small. Guess what? If I focus on the big, the small will come. So, reflection, what's one small opportunity you can take action on today? I want you to think about taking action today. And then the last key principle is align your dreams. And so this is the dream principle. Your dreams need to be like this. This is how I think about dreams. And it's going to be an acrostic of dreams. So you can write it down. DREAMS. Your dream needs to be daring. Your dream needs to be redemptive. Like I was talking to Cassidy. She has a redemptive idea to go impact unfortunate children in urban area, right? It needs to be redemptive. It needs to be exciting. Listen, you need to wake up exciting every day. I'm saying if you're not waking up exciting, I just want to say you may not have some dreams. You may be living in a nightmare, and you don't want that. You need to be excited about getting up. Whether it's going to a job, whether it's coming to class, because guess what? You have a mission. You got a dream to fulfill. And then it needs to be aggressive. Listen, when you tell people your dream, they need to look at you crazy. If they're not looking at you crazy, then it's not a big enough dream. They need to say, you know what, Cassidy, this is impossible. I just don't see how this is gonna happen. This doesn't make sense. Your family need to say, you know, you need to sit down. This is crazy. It needs to be aggressive. Well, people say, man, you need some medication. You kind of crazy, right? And then it needs to be meaningful. It needs to be something that, man, when you die, you can say, man, I use my life to do something meaningful. Listen, if you're not pursuing something meaningful, then you can't be excited. You're gonna be drained. Guess what? I got up at 5:30 this morning, drove almost an hour. I left 5 children at the house with my wife because I'm coming to do something meaningful. I didn't get up. I'm not doing this because it's not meaningful. This is meaningful to me. And then the last thing, it needs to be shareable. Your dream needs to be shareable. You need to have the ability for people to buy into your dream. Share it with you. Yesterday, I was sitting with a guy and we were talking about my book. And he was talking about his book. And what he told me, he said, Carl, he said, people will buy into that mission. What was he talking about? Leverage the past, improve the future. Let me ask you in here. Who in here wants to leverage their past to improve the future? Raise your hand. Who wants to improve the future, right? Everybody. Guess what? The guy told me, he said, man, people will buy into this message. Why? Because what I'm saying is, here is a resource you can leverage to improve the future. Everybody wants better quality of life. Everybody wants to improve their lives. If you don't want to improve your life, there's a problem. And so what he told me, he says, people want to buy into this mission. And I hope you buy into this mission, not for me, but for you and for your life to be meaningful. It's to buy into this mission, to say, man, everything that I've been through, what can I extract from that so that I can go so I can go and live a meaningful life? Right? So it's shareable. I want you to think about a shareable dream. And guess what? I'll be around. I got all my contact information. If you want to share your dream, you want to share your ideas. Me and Leo, we're in a mastermind class. Mastermind group. And guess what? We're always sharing. So share with me. Think about it. Let's see how we can do it. So that is what I do. Those are the key principles that guide me. So as you walk away from the day, these are three things that I want you to think about is reframe your past. Identify a past experience that can help you grow. Then the second thing is seize the opportunities. Y'all, there's opportunities all around us. You know why? Because there's problems. As a business person, you need to be looking at the problems in life and saying, what are some solutions that I can bring to these problems? There is no reason anybody should be without a job. Because guess what? There's always problems. Go solve one. And the third thing is pursue your dream. Take one step today towards your dream. And so I got some QR codes on the front, the back, some ways for you to stay in contact with me, some free resources that you can connect with me on, some things that you can do, ways you can purchase the book. I'm going to say I'll be available to you, but that's Carl Winn in a nutshell. That's what I do. That's why I get up every morning, is so that I can have an opportunity to impact lives worldwide. And so thank you for allowing me to fulfill my mission, my vision, by speaking to you today. Professor Leo, questions?
Yeah, come on, stand over here. We'll talk some questions. Now, I want y'all to notice something. Step over a little bit more because you got your camera on. So I put the second mic on so it can be caught in there as well.
Yeah.
Notice something. The last speakers that came in, I had to say to you all, give them a hand. Did I say that this time? What was the difference? Now, before you answer, let me first say this. All those other speakers were good. There was something different about this one and the others. What was it? The energy. Energy caused you all to take an action without being asked that you were previously asked to take. So does energy matter? That's why I come in every morning. Good morning, business leaders. Like, y'all can do better than that. And let me tell you, it's awkward to be standing here saying good morning and people saying crickets, crickets. But I don't care because I know the power of energy. You see? So he said something. Leverage opportunities. What do I give you all? Opportunities. So if there's anybody that want to evaluate this one yet and still to potentially exempt yourself from the final, which means that you get a 100 from the final, you don't have to take it. Make sure you check this out on the end. All right.
I was saying that's a write-off too.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you shared that. I didn't say this. So if you are a person who owns a business, but also if you're like self-employed or whatever, that is a write-off because it is a professional development. It's a business learning. So that $150, you can put that in a business expense on your tax return. Speak to your attorney or your CPA for actual advice. That was smooth, huh? It's recorded, by the way. All right. This is not financial advice. All right. Anybody got some questions for Carl before I get into the questions and things that I have for him?
How long were you a correctional officer for?
Yeah, so the question is how long I was a correctional officer. Almost 10 years. Started when I was 18.
I have a question. You say that God gave you the mission to inspire other people. How do you think, or how do you realize that was your mission?
That's a great question. She said, how did I come to this mission, right? So my vision, this is my vision, and it's in partnership with God, transform lives worldwide. And so it came about reflection. So I journal a lot. I mean, I have a goal to journal at least 3 times a day. I started that habit maybe about 6 months ago, but right now I journal probably like 10 times a day, just because it's a habit now that I'm optimizing the habit. And so through that process, through living life, I just began to reflect. And people begin to say, Carl, you're good at this. You're good at connecting. You're good at talking to people. You're good at sharing a vision, a mission, and connecting with people. And guess what? It gives me energy. Like I can probably do this all day long without coffee, because I don't drink coffee. So I can do it all day long, and I love it. It gives me energy. And I sleep well at night too because I'm giving that energy. If you're not sleeping well, maybe you're not giving well. So,
You know what I heard as he was saying that? Follow the energy. Follow the energy. Now, sometimes you're energized by something that's not so great. So make sure you're evaluating what it is. But ultimately,
sure.
you know, when you start seeing, you're creating value and you start seeing patterns and you also start seeing your energy. You know, one of your classmates was talking about something that they're very passionate about, you know, from a professional standpoint and, you know, what they're looking for. And I can tell she's energized by it, right? Um, and what one of the things that's interesting about this classmate, she's not a talkative person in the class. She's not the first one to raise her hand. She will if necessary, but to listen to her talk about what she's passionate about, it was like, oh, she gonna win in this just because of the energy.
Yeah. And let me add this
Sure.
is that I share in my book, and it's something that I leverage is experimentation. It's okay to experiment with things because you don't know what you don't know. And so you need to take some opportunities, take some risks, and get some experiences. So I've had so many jobs, so many opportunities, but it's because of experiment. Like, I'm not chasing a career, I'm chasing a calling. And so in order for you to know your calling, you got to have some experiences. So go experiment. So
What other questions? Okay. I guess he gave y'all. Let me share this with you. Carl was giving y'all a lot of bars. And when I say bars, I'm talking about statements, right? And I know that because as I was standing behind you all, I can see you all just writing and typing away. You know, he's not just giving you information, he's giving you information in sound bites where he gives you a sound bite, gives you some perspective about it. Give you a sound bite, give you a perspective about it. Do I do something similar to that? Like, if I'm going to ask you to take 18 notes, shouldn't I make sure you can get some things that can be bulleted? That's a communication tactic. As a matter of fact, I want y'all to do something. Listen to former President Trump. Just randomly. It's not a grade. Even listen to the opponent on the Democratic side, Kamala Harris, and listen to how both of them talk. Sound bites. And somebody come back and tell me next week if that's what you find. Okay. You know the questions? All right. Let me share some things real quick while Carl is here, and we'll talk about it a little bit. So, what's one of the first things Carl said when he started for y'all that were here? He said, this book is what? Not the book, but no. He said it's because of this perspective that he is here. Y'all remember that? He said that's why I'm here, because nothing is a waste, because I've leveraged the past and I have improved the future. Well, he then came back later on and said he's in this class today because of one relationship, right? Anybody who was in here at the beginning, how long ago did that relationship begin? 12 years ago. So a 12-year ago initiated relationship affected you 12 years later. We had no idea when he pulled up in that truck with his mobile detailing outfit that he was going to be standing in the class talking to you all about nothing is a waste. Now, let me ask this question. Was this valuable to you? What if I was not creating connections and relationships 12 years ago? Give you a tactic real quick. I asked that question and I had a long pause, didn't I? For an effect to really say to you, not only do I know that's a powerful question, I know you know it's a powerful question. Not only is it a powerful question, I asked it because I want you to really understand the impact that you make today has implications much further than today. You might want to write that down. The impact you make today has implications much further than today. Just what Carl said, the law of sowing and reaping. As a matter of fact, he mentioned something. He said money follows mission. And I'm sure somebody asked the question, why is it that money follows mission? Here's why. Does fruit follow the seed? If you plant a seed in fertile ground in appropriate conditions, what is it going to do? It's going to produce. It's going to grow a tree that's going to grow fruit. A mission is going to always prove that it's in action. Or more so, a mission is always going to prove that it's in motion. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's see. Something else you said, Carl. Carl said, go solve a problem, right? That what you said?
Yeah.
Now, why did you say go solve a problem?
Because there's problems. And we have the value to offer those solutions.
So, don't we talk about something about problems? Problems are like associated with a word called void, right? And so that means solutions are connected with another word called value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mind if I write something
Go
real
ahead.
quick?
You see what happens when you...
So a problem is pain. Let's just think about problems as pain.
Come
right?
on.
So if you think about PAIN, right? So problems accelerate. I think I may be spelling accelerate wrong, but accelerate innovation naturally. If you think about pain is a problem. Problems accelerate innovation naturally. And so when people are hurting, things are going on, you need to think about, how can this pain help me to think about a solution naturally? Because it's hurting. I need to make some changes, right? And so if you're going to be good at business, whether you become an employee or you start your own business, you need to be always thinking about, man, what are the pain points, right? And how can I accelerate innovation naturally? Just talk to people.
So let's flow with that. I'll tell y'all what's happening. This is how we operate on a regular basis. We just mastermind. So he said problems, right? So a problem is a void. Would y'all agree? Okay. Then innovation is a value, right? Okay, so a business is able to be in business because they solve a... Talk to me? Solve a problem, which means they feel a... Okay. And the reason they can be in business solving problems is because they use what? Innovation to solve that problem, which means they create... Now, I've said this to you before. I haven't said it a lot, as much as I probably will the remainder of the term. We all have a void. Like, think about it. We all have a void. We all have probably a lot of voids. We will all have value. Now, why would we be people who have void and value? It's because we don't all necessarily have the same value, and we all don't necessarily have the same void. Here's the thing. If we all had the same problems and nobody had any value for it, there wouldn't be any solutions, there wouldn't be any innovation, and there certainly wouldn't be any business. So really, we can only be in business because there are what? Problems, which means there are voids. You said it. And so here's what I often say. We all have a void, we all have a value. The problem is we seek to use our own value to fill and satisfy our own voids. It's not possible at all. Because the more you focus inward, the less you actually make progress. Actually, I hate to use this phrase, I'm going to say it differently. That's why people give up on their lives. Because they're focusing too inward. The moment they begin to focus outward and say, hey, I have a void, I also have a value. The only way that my void is going to be satisfied is if I exhaust myself in filling the voids of others. And so Carl said, do what? Solve a problem. But I'm going to take it a little further and tell you, find a big problem to solve. Because you find a big problem to solve, it'll exhaust your life and not just exhaust a moment. Something else I want to share with you. This is not necessarily a question, but I want y'all to hear this. Carl said he's in this class today because he's learned to leverage the past, improve the future, because he lived by the reality of nothing is a waste. Let me tell you the truth as to why he's in this class today. He didn't just leverage the past and improve the future. He used this same perspective to pick me up at one of my lowest points in life. We were working at a company together, and for whatever reason, the ownership was after me. They wanted to get me out, but they didn't want to fire me, and they kind of didn't want to create a stink, so they just created a bad situation that I just wanted to get out of. So I had to resign forcefully. Just so happened that resignation was a little more than 9 years ago, because it was probably about 4 weeks before my second daughter was born, and her birthday was yesterday. I was low. Could you imagine your professor low? The guy who's coming in with all this energy. The guy who's, sharing all of these tools and principles and perspectives and, acting like it's 3 o'clock in the day, 8 o'clock in the morning. Could you imagine that? I think you could, because you've had some low points probably. And I was low. This man right here, he said, Leo, you've created so much value. He said, I want you to go back into your past and look at every bit of value you created. I want you to bring it forward and use it to move yourself forward. See, some people write books because they just want to make money. Some people write books because they don't just want to make a difference. They've been making a difference and other people need it. Let me share something with you about selling stuff. Most people feel like folks are always after their money. I'm going to say this. If you have that thought process, get rid of it as soon as possible. Because money is a tool that is able to be a useful connection in a transaction of value. You got to understand that's what it's for. Matter of fact, money should be three things for you. You should be a master of money, which means money should be your slave, money should be your student, and money should be your tool. Which means it should be used to help you gain traction in whatever you're doing. But I'll tell you really what a book is. A book is the ability for a person to multiply themselves without being fixed by their own time. He can be in front of limitless numbers of people while he's living and when he's not living because of this. How many of you ever looked at a book like that? This guy can take what transformed his life, my life, and put it in front of an unlimited number of people for an unlimited number of time. And there's so many different products he can create from this one book. He can create a course. He can create an event. He can create free resources. He can break out the book. Matter of fact, he did a read the book with me type of thing and a Q&A afterward.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a lot of things. And what did he say the book enables you to do? It's the 3 Ps.
Passive.
No. This is a test. In-class test.
Passive impact, passive income, and
Come on now. It's not the book. It's the value packaged in a way that it can be valued. I heard somebody say this. Anything of value that is not valued is not valuable. And so the price on something helps to connect you to the value, but also the connection in the transaction. So stop letting money be something that can keep you from gaining what it is that you want to gain. But I want to tell you, you don't want to just buy this book. If you buy it, you're not just going to get a book. You're going to get something that has changed people's lives and is changing people's lives. Now, I'm just being honest with you. I didn't bring him here so he can talk about this book. But this is a business principles class, and we talk about making offers and things of that sort at different points in times. And so this is an opportunity to do that. But really, why I'm talking about this is the perspectives that he's sharing in here. That's why you have your professor today. And that's why your professor could actually bring him in today. I told you it was 9 years ago. He made an impact 9 years ago that is benefiting you 9 years later. Now I'm going to ask you a question. How many of you are better as it pertains to how you think about business since you've been in this class? Let me see a show of hands. That's a pretty good return. So, one of the things we talked about earlier on in the term was society, or do businesses do good for the community? Y'all remember that? Well, how can businesses do good for the community? More so, how should they do good for the community? Identify pain that needs to be eliminated. In other words, identify problems that need some acceleration and innovation that naturally happens. I got one last thing I want to ask. Why do problems accelerate innovation naturally? Let's talk about that real quickly. Why? So,
Forced to create a solution or quit.
Say that again.
Forced to create a solution or quit.
Forced to create a solution or quit. What else?
You want to create a product that you're passionate about to help other people.
Create a product you're passionate about to help other people. Okay. What else? Why do problems accelerate innovation naturally? No one likes to suffer. Okay. Let me ask this question. Why is it not problems accelerate innovation? It would look like this. Does that make sense? That actually sounds like this. Nobody just wants to pay. It's like if your life is filled with just paying, you just feel like everything is take. But you got to have the natural. Let me tell you why. Naturally means that it occurs regardless of what you do. It's supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen. Why? Because it's designed to activate value. That's why we were given voids as well as value. And that's also why we were given voids that are different from others and value that's different from others, because it shows that we're able to focus on the value of others through eliminating problems. See, I shared with you all that I want you to think like entrepreneurs as employees. And I didn't put the stuff up here, but I know you know what should be up there, right? One of them is that idea of the 4 levels of value. What are they? Say again? Implementation. Implementation. So let's walk it. So we got implementation. Say again? Unification. Imagination. Okay. So problems accelerate what? So what do problems accelerate? Which means that problems are going to activate your what?
Imagination. Mm-hmm.
And when it activates your imagination, it's going to automatically activate what? Your communication. And what did he say dreams should have as one of the parts of it? They should be what? Shareable. What's the point in having something you imagine that you ain't talking about it? Or you don't know how to talk about it? I got to ask you a question. Don't tell me that you're going to buy it, but let's give a scenario. Let's say you had all the money in the world, and after what he shared, are you very likely to go get this book? It's not just he said, buy my book, but he told you about this book to where you're like, what else is in there? Ever right? What did he use? And did it not also activate unification? And did he not say, join me? Join me in this mission. It's meaningful. And then Leo comes up and tells you, hey, I wouldn't even be your professor today. If it wasn't for nothing is a waste. And I can show you this. It activates what? What is this? If it's not implementation. It's not just implementation in that he did it or that I did it. He's actually put it in a form that can be implemented by anybody. But here's what I mean by that. He imagined one day, you know, I'm going to write a book. I wonder how I can do that. He started engaging in communication with people. Carl, who's one of the people who influenced you to write a book? Why?
Yeah.
How did you do? How did that happen?
Because you wrote a book.
Oh. And so what did that do for you?
Well, it's inspiration, motivation, and it helps me to know that it's possible.
Did you struggle with doing it at one point?
Oh yeah, it was a real good struggle.
Let me ask you this: before you met Leo, had you wanted to write a book? You
absolutely.
did. But what happened? Somebody had some dreams.
That's right.
And it was shareable. It was meaningful. It was aggressive. It was redemptive. What's the D? I did all the rest of the work for you. What's the D? It was daring. And because of it, it influenced somebody else's dreams.
That's right.
See, this is not theory we're talking about. This is raw rubber meets the road practice. So when it comes down to it, I can tell you this much. This is a book you might want to get. You know why? You had approximately an hour of his time today. But do you think that he can spend an hour with each one of you all every day? Do you think he can spend an hour with each one of you all every week? He possibly could, right? If he set it up as a group setting. But watch this. This is not about Carl. This is about what he said about read books. He was listening to the person who's over 100. She's 102.
102.
102. Imagine what she's seen in her life. Imagine what she's learned that she's not taking with her, that she's leaving behind in this book. In 102 years of life. Like, just the fact that she's 102 makes it to where it's like worth it. But if she dies and she took all of that with her, all that she got, you wouldn't be able to get. But she put it in a book. She multiplied herself.
That's right.
You can spend as many hours with Carl right here. And should you get this book, I want to encourage you to think about it from that standpoint and say, if I get to spend an hour with Carl, how many other people can I spend hours with just by purchasing their content? And if they didn't sell it, you wouldn't be able to get it. Does that make sense? So, anybody else want to take advantage? You got something else you want to say, Carl, before we close?
I just had to ask. So the book is coming out next Tuesday. So I do need a launch team. So if anybody wants to be on a launch team, what you can do is let me know and I can email you a free copy of it so you can read. And when it comes out, which is October the 29th, You can leave me a review on Amazon, kind of make it shareable. Use your social media to get it out there. But it's a free copy that I can send to you. And I would love for you to join. It's something that you can learn in the process. So that's one ask. The second is I would love to maybe get a video and say, hey, thank you, Carl, or hey, this was great. If y'all thought it was great for the whole group, then individuals, if y'all want to do that, that way I can continue to get the word out.
So you want to bring it over?
I'll do it with this
Oh,
phone.
you gonna, okay, he gonna.
If y'all don't mind.
Y'all good with that?
Okay. I'm gonna get. Let me see how I can get to the side. I probably need to come over there.
Go ahead.
So I'm at Lone Star College. This is a business class. I was just able to speak, and so these are the students. They're gonna say something.
Thank you, Carl.
All right. Thank y'all. Let me get a de nada. No le español. I'm gonna take a photo. Why don't you get? Would you take one with me?
Yeah.
In a group.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stand by. Do I need to?
Yeah, get on your knee or something like that. There you go. All right. Everybody say Carl.
Carl.
Now, everybody say business.
Business.
All right. Cool. All right. So, like I said, anybody want to consider this as an option? It's on the front as you walk out. If you got any assignments or anything like that that's due. Also, Carl said reach out to him. He's put a way for you to get in touch with him on front and back. Actually, this front QR code is how you can get that free book and kind of move in that direction. But also, I'll do my best to send out his email address to you guys.
And I got a QR code here if anybody wants to
Yeah, if
get
y'all
my
wanna
information.
get
I'd
it
love to,
before
like
we
say,
leave.
get a personal video of everybody whoever want to say it. Now I'll post it on my social media and just say, be able to get it going.
So, any
Thank y'all.
questions? Any questions?
No, sir.
Give him another hand. I got 2 more people coming. One of them, he gonna be probably as energized as Carl. So, y'all get ready. All right. So, have a great one. Be well.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Take care, Irvin.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you.
You good?
Nice to meet you. Huh?
Good luck.
With your good stuff.
Is there any way
All right,
you
thank
can
you.
reopen the test number 2?
Shoot me an email. Shoot me an email so I can make sure to do that.
One of a
What you
few
got?
things while you're talking
You
that
did.
I thought you would potentially find interesting. I made a couple connections between some of the things that you were saying
Okay.
and some of the information and things that I've read in the past. But one of them was a lot of the competencies. Sorry, actually, you want to talk to other people, so I'm not taking up everybody's
I don't know. Shoot
I just
me.
wanted to say nice to meet you. Thank you so much. I
Nice.
would love to have your contact info. If
Okay,
you have
yeah.
that QR code. I just scan it.
What's your name?
It's Aimet.
I'm Matt.
Yes, it's AIMET.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Unique.
perfect. I got to put
Yeah.
it right here.
Press save.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a free. It's free. And then
Perfect.
you press done. Should be in there. Yeah, shoot me information, and
Ooh, that was fast.
you can add whatever information you want. It'll come to me.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for
No,
this video.
you too. Nice to meet you.
I just want to say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, man.
From the first few minutes, I was like, I don't know, it just reminds me of a preacher like Joel Osteen.
Yeah.
Like your stuff.
Oh, thank you, man. What's your name?
Justin.
Justin. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Scan that QR code and get you that video.
Okay, well, yeah, I appreciate it. And here, take my phone number.
Oh, okay.
Take. There you go. And you should be able to press create new, save contact, press view.
Yeah, there we go.
Should go down to here. Go down, press done. I don't think you gotta pre-create. There you go. And you can shoot me information.
All right,
Take care,
all right.
Justin.
Hey, you too. Have a good day.
You too. What are you saying, Cassidy?
So I affiliated a lot of the things that you were saying with Army doctrine, and I know that you said that you like to use books. Obviously, Army doctrine is not necessarily a book, but it's something that a lot of people relate to because when you reference it, people see the Army as this idealized thing when in reality it's not like that at all.
Sure.
But, the military tries to outline who a human should be or what a human should be,
Yeah.
and tries to develop people into that. And this is the chart that the military has created for character, presence, and intellect. So what someone should be, what someone should know, and what someone should do, and the characteristics affiliated. And a lot of the things that you were saying were in direct alignment with that. So I thought maybe you would want to use that as a resource in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you share that with me?
Yeah, of course.
Did you hear? Why don't you take my number? Here you go. Be great.
And then you bringing faith into it, I just wanted to share another resource that has helped me grow in my faith. And the Bait of Satan is a study that I've been doing recently, and it goes into the art of offense, and how offense develops your character or strengthens your character, and growing from that and recognizing like the attacks of Satan in your day to day. And when someone speaks so positively, so you speak a lot of the positive, use the things from the past, and use this and use that, and positives always come with negative. And so I think that's a great way to look at the negative aspect of the bait of Satan. Yes. And yeah, that was. Let's see. Yeah, I really enjoyed you speaking. I think, like you mentioned, I'm not normally this active and caring about what people are saying. So I really appreciate you coming in, and I truly enjoyed listening.
Glad I was able to share.
So this is one of the books, just one of the books that inspired Carl.
Yeah.
Fancy.
That's one of the books that inspired Carl.
And it's inspiring many people now.
Oh,
Because I shared it with one of the ladies at my church. She wrote a children's book, and again the spark. And she was like, "Man, I need to learn how to use Canva to design to do that." I'm like, look at this, go look at this book. And I said, you probably you'll get, because I'm sure you use Canva to design. I said, go look at it and see what he did. So